Hello, I'm Jean Pierce, co-chair of the Issues and Advocacy Committee of the League of Women Voters of Illinois. This is a brief overview of issues and advocacy conducted by the Illinois League. The League has a long history of advocacy. We were formed in 1920 as the National League of Women Voters. At that time, they addressed issues such as child welfare, education, the home and high prices, women in gainful occupations, public health and morals, and independent citizenship for married women. In fact, the League's first major legislative success was passage of the Shepard-Towner Act, providing federal aid for maternal and child care programs. In 1946, the national organization was renamed as the League of Women Voters of the United States, and it became structured as a grassroots organization. It is in and through the local league that members determine, directly and indirectly, what the league does and how it does it. The league has two main foci: voter services, which is responsible for things like registering voters and candidate forums, and issues and advocacy, which studies issues, develops positions for members to adopt, then advocates or lobbies based on those positions. Before we go on, we need to make a distinction between programs and program. Programs are specific events, but program, the singular form, often refers to setting a course of action for the next year or two based on positions. Several years ago, local leagues agreed that the criminal justice position for Illinois needed to be updated. So they studied the issues, they debated and reached consensus about a variety of statements. That determined how the position adopted at the state convention was worded. Positions can also be adopted by concurrence. Another league does the hard work of assembling and studying resources, then we're asked if we agree with their position. After positions are adopted, they can be used to advocate for or oppose public policy. In 1921, we were asking local leagues to weigh in about what you wanted the Illinois League to focus on for the next biennium. Based on your input, we came up with 3 program pillars: voting rights and election processes, the climate change crisis, and equitably meeting basic human needs. We should also acknowledge the distinction between advocacy and lobbying. Advocacy is general support of an issue. For instance, we want you to support legislation that protects the right to vote for all people. On the other hand, lobbying refers to urging decision makers to support or oppose specific legislation by name or number. We want you to support the Freedom to Vote Act. As you know, we only take action on legislation if we have a position that our members have thoroughly studied and supported. Your league can take action based on positions listed in the U.S. League's Impact on Issues or the Illinois League's Where We Stand. And many local leagues have their own positions that evolve from studies and consensus. Unless you've been asked by the state or national leagues to contact a state or national official, you must request permission before you contact them in the name of the league. The link to the form that you complete to request permission from the U.S. League is at the end of Where We Stand. To request permission to contact the state official, please contact issues@lwvil.org. Of course, only your president or someone she designates can speak on behalf of the league. However, league members can take action as individuals. For example, a letter or a witness slip sent on behalf of the league can only come from your president or designee. But you can respond to an action request as an individual, contacting your elected official without mentioning the league. Of course, there are many ways of taking action. Here are some of them. File a witness slip, call, email, or visit a governmental official, write a letter to the editor, hold or join a rally with or without speakers, organize a car caravan driving past a legislator's office, hold a forum educating the public, participate in our lobby day, contact voters in other states. How can you learn about action alerts? Well, whoever is responsible for entering members in the U.S. League's roster needs to make sure that it's up to date. Also, check out the U.S. League's outreach circle. Now, there's some action alerts are included in the members' bulletin, so be sure to look at all of the League's communications. Attend our issues briefing in February. Follow us on Facebook. Track the bills on the League website and join a Google group. And you can track the progress of bills included in action alerts through the State League's website. You may need to refresh the page. We've also created a YouTube recording telling how to track legislation through ilga.gov. You can keep current and share information with others about our issues and advocacy through the State League's Google groups. To join any of them, please contact issues@lwvil.org. Here are some of the laws that were passed in the last 2 years, which were supported by members of the League of Women Voters of Illinois. Regarding affordable housing, landlords can no longer discriminate based on a tenant's source of income. The budget closed some corporate tax loopholes and increased funding for early childhood programs, as well as for minority teacher scholarships. The budgets for both fiscal year 22 and 23 saw increases of $350 million for evidence-based funding to redress current inequities in the state's educational funding system. The Climate and Equitable Jobs Act set Illinois on a course to 100% clean energy while addressing green energy job creation and environmental justice. With this legislation, Illinois is leading the nation in its efforts to switch to clean and renewable energy. The Medical Release Act provides that the Prisoner Review Board may grant a person committed to the Department of Corrections early release for medical incapacity or terminal illness. Legislation passed in 2021 provided funding for secure collection sites for postage-free vote-by-mail ballots and allowed for curbside voting. In 2022, voting by mail became more accessible for visually impaired people. Ghost guns can no longer be sold or possessed in Illinois. Legislation created a prescription drug repository, so unused prescribed medication that is sealed in tamper-evident packaging can be donated to people who are indigent. Also, access to healthcare was expanded to low-income people ages 42 and older. The Illinois Way Forward Act holds law enforcement accountable to protect our communities from potential abuses of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Also, immigrants who are detained now have a right to counsel. The Community Emergency Services and Supports Act provided that 911 dispatch can request appropriate non-police support for people in mental or behavioral health crises. Pregnant minors no longer need permission from adult members in order to obtain abortion care in our state, and sex education teaches students not to bully LGBTQ youth. Thank you for listening. I hope this has given you an idea of the importance of issues and advocacy for the Illinois League, as well as how you can get involved.